Give us when we mess up, not if. A little bit about Greg and I. We got together. I was a student at Emory and Henry, and like Greg said, I'm from Richmond, or Larry told you I'm from Richmond, Virginia. I grew up there. And I came down here to go to Emory and Henry, and I was a senior there, a junior there when I met Greg. And we first started singing a little bit. I was at the time doing like little coffee house kind of things, and he was going around to different churches with a backpack full of cassettes with tracks. And we met actually kind of in a Bible study on campus, and we sort of put our two things together and started singing together. But I grew up in Richmond, and I would say kind of a heavy metal head. And I used to always ask, we put this together when we first started singing to kind of get down and get to know everybody and you know, ease the tension that would always be there. This isn't really an appropriate question anymore, but I'll go ahead and ask. How many heavy metal headbangers are out in the audience? Larry was always okay. Not many anymore. But anyway, I was one.
You're a little uncomfortable with this crowd, aren't you?
That's right. About 15 years ago, I'm thinking about how I'm going to tone this down a little bit. I want to tone this version down. I won't. I'll lay it on out, Larry. But anyway, if you'd have stopped me maybe 15 years ago or something and asked me to do Amazing Grace, it would have sounded different than what you used to.
I like it.
Amazing grace, oh, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like Larry. Life once was lost, but now I have found. I once was blind, but now I see. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Thanks, Pete. It's really good. Well, don't worry. I did not, you know, growing up Poor Valley, I did not grow up doing Amazing Grace like that. We've been kicked out of the church for one thing. We didn't even try that. And Pete didn't tell you the whole truth about our meeting. We were kind of forced together by my wife. But at the time, when I met my wife, we got engaged, and she was best friends with Pete. And Pete and I didn't get along real well at first because, see, she grew up in a suburb of Philadelphia, so she's a city girl, and he's from Richmond, he's a city, you know, and so it's all right for guys and girls to be best friends, but I'm from the mountains, and that was my woman, you know? And I just didn't know what was going on here with these best friend things, so we didn't get along real well, but my wife kept pushing us together and saying, why don't you guys sing together, why don't you do this? And I'm sure people over there saying, I don't like him, I'm not going to do it. And I was over here saying, I'm not singing with him. But we did get together at a Bible study, and it just goes to show you what a lot of prayer and everything will do, because I prayed for Pete, and he changed.
I'd forgotten this part of this story. I left out some of mine that I could have got.
But I grew up doing Amazing Grace, not quite like this, but I heard it like this a few times. My grandmother's Primitive Baptist Church, something like this. Well, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Well, I once was lost, but now I am found. And I was blind, but now I see.
Everybody always likes yours better than mine.
Because around here we are found. We're not found around here.
Well, my version changed, and my sister, I have a sister who was a true hippie, and then of course I used to always ask the question, how many hippies are out there, and Larry would raise his hand again. My sister got a hold of me and changed my version a little bit. It sounded like this.
I'm picking on
I can't take it anymore. It's all right, I'm going to bring the key up on this next song. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound, oh, that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, oh, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see.
Well, as I got a little older and made my way out of Poor Valley, I went to school at Patrick Henry High School, and some of my friends that I used to run around with were black guys, and I would stay all night with them on Saturday night, and their mama would get us up in the morning, and we had to go to church. You know, regardless of what we'd been out doing on Saturday night, we'd get up and go to church. And a lot of times I was the only white guy in the church, and they do things a little differently than what I was used to, and I mean, they would sway back and forth. Yeah, I was scared to death first time I ever went. But they, you know, swaying during the singing, and they'd all be swaying this way, and I'd be swaying over here, stepping on somebody, you know, with no rhythm or anything. And old ladies looking at me saying, "Who brought that poor little white boy?" But being around that, and I went to church there, you know, quite a bit on and off during my high school years, and that changed my version a bit in the way I look at music. You coming back for this, or do we just do it? Do it without you?
I don't play on this one anyway.
Okay, but my version changed a bit from that experience. Love me, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but thank God now I am found. And I was blind, but now I see. What was that?
I said, they just raised you up right.